Hello, everybody. My name's Milan Starcic. Welcome to Freedom Rising, a podcast dedicated to empowering individuals on the journey to personal growth, lasting serenity, and freedom from addiction. Tune in and join the movement. Your journey to freedom starts here. We neither represent, promote, or demote any 12-step program or organization. We are merely souls on the path of recovery with the desire to expand our lives and experiences and share them with you. Hello, everybody.
What's up?
Welcome to the 215th Recovery Freedom Rising podcast, and Merry Christmas Eve from Virginia Beach and Oliver, BC.
Yes.
I'm Milan Starcic with my co-host, Andrew Norman. Yes, and today's topic is, am I actually spiritual or just well-behaved? So I just want to say I'm really happy to be sharing Christmas Eve together for a couple hours here to talk. It feels like a nice, like we're having our little Christmas party here. This is a staff Christmas party right now.
This is, man. This is. Where's the punch bowl? Where the punch bowl at?
Right here.
Punch bowl.
Right here.
Let's get it. So
I got caffeine punch on this side.
Merry Christmas Eve to everybody. And you, Milan, man, I love you very much. You're a special part of my life, and it's really cool that I get to spend some time on Christmas Eve with you, because it's always been a very special day to me. So, and if you're out there listening in Singapore, Uzbekistan, wherever you're at,
shout out to Singapore. You guys are our fastest growing listeners. We love you. You know, someday maybe we'll do a live session in Singapore.
Hell yeah, we should. All right, cool, man. So let's get this thing rolling. So am I spiritual or am I well behaved? This was something that I kind of came up with. We were coming up with some topics the other day, and thank you for choosing this one, Milan. But I'm going to kind of run through what that kind of means to me before I got here, and then we'll kind of roll through it with the questions and stuff. But before I got to recover, I didn't think about spirituality really at all. I've always kind of hit on this where it was always like a religious undertone thing for me. And if you asked me if I was spiritual before I got here, I probably either would have laughed or just lied, said something stupid off the cusp, just to continue the conversation, because I didn't understand what it was. What I did understand was control. You know, I understood what having an image was, right? I understood what survival was. I did know what that was. And when we think about being well behaved, what that looked like before I got into recovery was just not getting caught.
Yeah.
Right. Let's say, saying the right things, just to get me out of a situation, blending in. Right. I think about blending in, manipulating outcomes. Like that's what being well behaved was before I got to recovery. Right. Performing just enough to avoid consequences. That's kind of where my head was at, right? It wasn't spiritual. I was strategic. There was no spiritual nature to it. It was all strategy. I was being strategic, right? I could not follow rules when it benefited me because I was really I wasn't living to adhere, right? I could behave only when the fear became strong enough to make me behave, right? That's where I was before I got here. And none of that had to do with being spiritual, right? Nothing had to do with like that honesty, humility, love, that stuff that we're really looking to strive to live by. I had nothing to do with that before I got here. So my inner life before I got here was anger, right? Sadness, afraid, self-centeredness, emotional immaturity. I was spiritually bankrupt, right? I was spiritually tapped out. I didn't live by principles, only impulses. That's what I live by. I didn't live by spiritual principles. There's no thought process into me trying to make this spiritual at all, right? And so when I acted right, my motives were wrong. I was never asking myself, is this loving? I was always asking myself, what am I going to get out of the situation? So now as I come into recovery, spiritual, when I say, am I spiritual or am I just well behaved? And I'm grateful because what do I have written down here? When it comes to NA, we don't just stay clean by learning how to live better. We stay clean by learning how to live spiritually, right? We're not just becoming better people. We're trying to really embody what this spirituality word and what that term is, and it can be anything you want it to be, which was a really important thing for me at the beginning, because the whole God thing, I wasn't a God guy before I got here. Still ain't, still not, but it's a spiritual thing, right? It can be whatever you want it to be. I'll pass that to you, man. I love you, bro.
Ooh,
Love
I
you so
love you
much.
too.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas
Ho,
Eve.
ho,
Ho, ho, ho.
ho.
Am I actually spiritual or just well behaved? Oof. I'm kind of a bit of both. Let's be honest. It's to me, when I saw this one, it jumped out at me because I do think it's something that is constantly changing, especially if you're working your program. Like if you're doing work, I think you're becoming more spiritual over time. You're changing from a life of external compliance. I'm going to be the good boy because I don't want to get in any more shit. Whatever your rock bottom was, whatever that shit was, to a life of like internal transformation, you know, like from, and like well behaved, like, staying sober to avoid getting in more trouble, to manage your image, your reputation with others, like that was my white knuckling adventure for 17 and a half years. But being like actually spiritual, like that is having that awakening, that psychic change that the AA Big Book talks about, and and then really, turning your will and your life over to your higher power, like your motivations become service and love, right?
Yeah.
Versus me and me, and in the context of like surrender involved with that, right? You're going from like I have to follow the rules to like I'm just being part of life now. Like you're surrendering what you're doing in that way, and and that's going to make you a nicer person. Like if you're actually putting those principles before your personality, you're going to be nicer. And with loving completely, right? Like love goes from being transactional, being well behaved. I will act this way and you will give me this kind of treatment or rewards as it, however it is, right? Even if that's just to keep the peace. But, like when it goes into like a spiritual loving completely, it's like a divine affection, like passing through us with no limits and no transaction. There is no record of wrongs or rights with loving completely. And so I
Great
think we're
point.
gonna get into some good questions here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna leave that there, and I'm also gonna say again, I love you, I love you, I love you.
I love you too, man. I love you too. So, question number one, Milan, how do you personally define the difference between being spiritual and being well behaved? We'll start there.
I mean, I'm gonna piggyback on what I was just saying in a lot of ways, right? Like, I'm I'm taking the transaction out of it. Like, is well behaved was me, kind of my first week in treatment. Like I knew that I wanted to change. I had not had a spiritual awakening. I didn't know what I was doing, and I did what people told me. And I was like, "Oh, Milan's a good, well-behaved guy." And meanwhile, inside, um, I was like looking at step 12, and I was like, I remember looking at step 12 and being like, "Yeah, what the fuck ever?" Like having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, like I'm like helping others. Like I was barely hanging by a thread myself.
Yeah.
Helping others was like the most foreign concept where I was just like, yeah, okay, first of all, my spirit's awake. Like, whoa, 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 we're backing it up there.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, now that has come into me feeling connected to the universe, connected to the universe in a way that um, I want to be contributing to the beauty of the universe and what's happening and not controlling it. And, you know, and it's really allowed me to put love, forgiveness, and surrender into action. And it's work in progress, man. There's like, you know, yesterday I was really living a good program until fucking 5:42. And something in my brain where it was just like my day was finally too much, and it just got me into a super shitty state. And it was just
Yeah.
like I knew I'm like, okay, I need the shortest route to the end of this day at that point, because I just felt it. It was like I could be amazing, I could be strong, and then somehow something there just disconnected me. And you know, I think it was actually too much treats. I want to say that. I feel like it could have been sugar driven. But either way,
This was
it's
yesterday.
this was last night. Yeah, man.
What'd
But
you do? What'd you do? Like, what did you end up doing?
I just ended up telling my wife, like, I was coming home with some food, and there's just a series of things that kind of happened right as I was getting the food. And then I'm like halfway home, and they call and they're like, oh, we forgot one of the things.
Ooh,
And I'm just like,
ooh,
bing. Like it
out of
was
my
just like bing.
control.
That, yeah. And instead
Mm.
of just putting on another song and turning around, I just fucking got derailed. And you know, um, it's leaves in the pool's problem. You know, like it really is. But I'm being honest about it. It put me in a really shitty frame of mind. And for me, you know what? It was enough, and I identified it though, and I just said, look, I said, right now, just here's the food, you eat your food, and just let me do the stuff I need to do right now, because I need to finish this day. And I had some chores and things to get ready for Christmas, and I just went off on my own and then went to bed. Like it was that simple. But you know, to me, um that's more than being well behaved. You know, like I'm actually being honest about how I'm feeling. You know, like I'm surrendering to the point. Oh, look at my candy cane
I
nails.
was gonna say your fingernails are bleeding. No,
Yeah,
never mind.
yeah, yeah. You
That's
know, I'm a
that's
candy
awesome.
cane.
That's awesome. That's
But
awesome.
yeah. So I'm not even sure what the question was, but I think I did a good enough job getting
That
in
was a
there.
beautiful answer, dude. That was awesome. I love that, and that's great because in what you're doing here is we use these as these help us. These podcasts help us just as much as anybody listening. And so what you're doing is you're kind of sharing it in a meetings or so
Mm,
level and getting some of that power out of it too.
mhm.
And that's really important, Milan. Really important, no matter how big or small it is. I love you.
Love you too,
I'm
brother.
proud of you, man. So, how do I personally define the difference between being spiritual and being well behaved? Um, for me, the difference between those two things comes down to what's driving me on the inside ultimately. Um, you know, it's really all that internal shit. It's not anything on the outside. Like a lot of the we can do all this dressing up of the outside and all this other hoopla, right? But it's really about how I'm being driven internally, that internal force, right? And like when I'm just being well behaved, that's when my actions are usually being guided by some kind of fear, some kind of self protection, self preservation, some kind of image management, as I have written down, like a image management, right? Like people pleasing goes into that too. You know, I'm doing the right thing, but I'm doing the right thing so that I don't lose something, that approval, right? Like that's where it gets a little tricky for me when I'm doing something that so I don't lose a comfort or I don't lose approval, I don't lose control, or I don't lose peace. You know, I might follow the rules and say the right things, and I might even be helping other people, Milan, but underneath, like deep down, like I'm still trying to manage everything. Just trying to be Mr. Micromanager of my life and the people around me so that the outcomes can be what I want them to be. And that's where I have to get backed up, man. I gotta get tapped into God and really let things roll the way as he sees fit, not as I see fit. It's not about me. You know, when I start controlling these outcomes and I start noticing that I'm doing this and they layer up, right? And I can find myself in a bad spot. But it's real cool, man, because this program has allowed me to notice that, right? I can notice all these changes in the water, right? And I can adapt, and I can act accordingly. I can get myself out of that situation. I can pause, pray, and use step 11, back up, right? Think about this thing, not just react, right? I want to respond. The days of me just reacting like an idiot are done. I can respond like an adult, like a human that like actually has some compassion for the situation. So that's something that I've been afforded in this recovery thing, because I didn't have that before I got here. When I'm being spiritual, something very different is happening internally for me. I'm not acting from fear. I'm acting from principles. These principles I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to gain because I'm working the steps, right? I'm not focused anymore so much on how I'm being perceived, Milan. It's I'm focused on whether I'm being honest with you, right? With the group. I'm focused on being loving today. I'm focused on being useful to the fellowship. Spirituality for me means I'm willing to do the right thing, even when it costs me something, Milan. Sometimes it might cost me something doing the right thing. That's when I know I'm tapped in spiritually, and I'm really, really, really understanding what goodwill is and humility and all that shit. I know that even when I can lose something in a situation, I'm gonna do the right thing. And bro, that makes me feel really good when I can do that. And that doesn't happen a whole lot. Situations don't really arise too much where that's the case, but when they do, bro, and you're able to push through that, it's a beautiful thing, man. It's a really, really freeing experience to be able to do something like that. Um, Another kind of big difference in there is like my flexibility, man. I'm flexible today, Milan. When I'm being well behaved, I tend when I'm just being that well behaved, I tend to be more stiff, and like the spirituality part of it allows me to be flexible tenfold, right? Like I can really be flexible in any situation, in any surroundings too. What work, NA related, non NA related, family, whatever it is, man, I can feel it when I'm tapped in spiritually. Um, and I notice other people who are tapped in spiritually too. It's like a just a common like, hey, like how are you? I love you. Like there's just an honest connection there when two people are tapped in spiritually and they're talking with each other. I have no idea if I answered that question, but that's what kind of came up to my head. And I love you, man. You are muted.
You nailed it, man. You nailed it. Yeah. And in fact, I was like, oops, I'm like, I didn't really answer it at all. Okay, so the well behaved person seeks to look good on the outside. The spiritual person seeks to be at peace on the inside. If no one ever knew about your good deeds today, would you still feel the same drive to perform them, Andrew?
Oh yeah. Because I reference this all the time, bro. I'm not ducking God. He's always watching. My higher power, who I choose to call God, is always watching me. Um, and because I pray every morning, I pray every night, and in between, I know for a fact, because as I roll through my actions throughout the day, um, I get that little spiritual attaboy, man. I really do. It's a way that keeps me going throughout the day. The way that keeps me flowing in the right direction. Um, and then on the opposite side of that, like when I'm not tapped in spiritual, I feel that too. I feel that too. And so yeah. Being spiritual shows up most clearly for me when nobody's watching. Actually, like when nobody's watching, that's when my spirituality really kind of gets. There's just a heightened sense of it, right? Because it's like I'm only doing this um, for no other reason than to be a good person right now. Whatever it is, pick up that piece of trash, open up that door, whatever it is. I'm just trying to make your life better at that point. It has nothing to do with me. And the more and more I can take myself out of whatever situation it is, the more spiritual I feel like I can be in that situation, because I can meet you where you're at, anywhere. And that's extremely important to me, Milan. It's extremely important. Before I came here, I didn't know what these people that are walking around with all these good feelings and really picking people up and pumping people up. I didn't know that was spiritual, like a spiritual thing. Um, and so I do now. I do now. And it's beautiful to be able to know the difference and apply them. So love you, man. Great question.
I love that. There was a lot of rapid fire insight on your part,
Boom, boom, boom,
brother.
boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, yeah. You weren't dropping the mic. You were
Nope.
shooting a machine gun of your heart.
Yes.
Okay, so the well-behaved person seeks to look good on the outside. The spiritual person seeks to be at peace on the inside. If no one ever knew about my good deeds today, would I still feel the same drive to perform them? And I'm saying yes, I would. And I've sculpted my program for the action itself to be the reward, not the attaboy. Like
Hmm.
it is so much. Um, like if I am basing my contentment with my day on your attaboy, then I'm already making a resentment. Like it's, it literally is creating an expectation when I'm doing it. And it's just not like, like each part of my daily reflections, my actions, my prayers, my meditations, they're there for me to become present through love and surrender, connecting to my universe, my higher power, and and it's like such a bigger reward than an attaboy. Like it's so much more, dude. You know it.
Oh yeah, man. We have it.
Like
Yeah.
I perform the deeds because of who I am, not who I want you to see me as anymore.
Oh,
And that's just a different thing. Like
oh.
it is a completely different thing to just feel enough love that you put yourself into service. You know,
Not forced. It's not forced at all.
but it's also just not like I'm not reaching out to a lonely person because I'm wanting them to go, yay. I'm reaching out because I know someone's lonely, you
Yeah.
know? And, uh, and for me, a lot of that guidance is coming out of my two-way prayer. Like I would be
Still
lying to,
rocking with that, huh? Still rocking with that.
dude. I'm barely like I missed 5 days when I was sick, and I missed one day in September, and that's it, man.
Is it
It's
growing or is it kind of the same thing, just changes throughout the day? How's that? How's
so
that come along?
right now, I got this book, which is kind of like a book about it. It's called How to Listen to God by
Hmm.
Wally Patton,
Okay.
and so it goes a little bit way deeper than the initial pamphlet I had. So it has been morphing as I'm reading this book. Ooh, you know what? I'm going to read something here that I read this
Please
morning.
do. Is that on the website? Is that on their website, the two-way prayer website, or is that just something that y'all had
I,
figured
I
out is
had I had to
connected?
get it through Amazon.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, here we go. Absolute unselfishness is only possible if we have absolute love. We
Hmm.
can only be unselfish according to the love we extend to the object of our unselfishness.
Okay.
Sacrifice of our interest to the interests of others without thought of reward is in itself love. Although we may not consciously recognize it as such when we are performing our act of unselfishness. There is more joy in unselfishness than selfish people realize.
I
That was what
like
I read
that.
this
I
morning.
like that.
And
I like
man,
that.
that fits right into what
That
we're
first part
dealing
I
with.
really liked. You said that
Yeah.
first couple of sentences was really, really
Yeah.
dope.
Dude, it's got, and so that is like the book is kind of like formed of this guy meeting this 96-year-old from the Oxford group in 1996, 91-year-old in 1996. But the book goes through and references a whole bunch of Oxford group stuff that got them in the direction they were going, like that quote.
That's
And
cool.
and so it's kind of funny, man. The deeper I get into it, the more I can see half measures avail us nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Like,
Yeah.
like there is no kind of like part loving. Like your action can not be kind of loving. It cannot be
Yeah.
kind of unselfish. It cannot be kind of honest.
It
Like
can't be kind of dishonest. Can't be kind of dishonest or honest. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
it's so cool. It's so cool. Yeah. So anyway,
It's recovery lingo. Remember we talked on that the one time,
mm,
like discuss, like saying something you don't want to be dishonest, whatever. It's just saying it's just honest. It's just being dishonest, but it's wrapped in recovery lingo, right? Like if
yeah,
you're saying the half truth, being a
yeah.
half truth, come on, man. Get out of here. You're lying.
Yeah.
You're lying.
So you got another question?
I do. So when have you noticed yourself acting right while fearing, excuse me, when have you noticed yourself acting right while feeling spiritually disconnected?
Hmm.
When have you noticed yourself acting right while feeling spiritually disconnected?
You know, I'll just say like days that I'm really tired, days that I've eaten shitty food, not exercised or whatever, and I feel disconnected. I can I can run through my program like as a human, but not as a soul, if that makes any sense. You know,
Mm-hmm.
there's days where the days where like, man, I could read the most profound thing ever, get nothing out of it, come downstairs, do my two-way prayer, really just be like waiting for it to be over, try to write a song, not get my exercise done. And then it's like somebody calls me who really needs me, and I'm like, okay, like I'm listening, but I'm just not present. Like that that connection to the present moment and to the universe for me is like when I'm not connected, I feel like the old Western sets for a movie where it's just the front of the building and look around the corner and the saloon's like this wide. Like that's what I feel like.
It's funny.
Yeah. So I would say that that's my answer to that, but that's, like that's 100% where I'm like, it almost feels like fraudulent. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I do think there's benefits in in just acting right, even when we don't feel it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, there is.
Yeah,
Absolutely there.
yeah.
Absolutely there is. Done. You ready for my answer?
I am so ready.
I love you, Santa Claus, man.
Oh,
Um,
oh, oh.
Steps 10 Starcic clause. When have I noticed myself acting right while feeling spiritually disconnected? Um, well, uh, when I think about that, I think about periods where like my outside behavior like looks like I have it all together and I'm doing well, but my inside is just going through jumping jacks and it's really tight and restless, right? My insides are restless, but I'm walking around like I got it all figured out. Um, these are the times when I'm doing like all the things I'm supposed to be doing in my recovery, right? Like going to meetings, showing up, being of service, returning phone calls, and saying all the things I'm supposed to say. But I'm doing this without like my real presence and joy, right? Like without that real connection that I'm looking for. And because we can't be 100% all the time, Milan. And one of my biggest signs, like for me, is when like resentment is like disguised as responsibility, is kind of how I think about it. Like when I'm doing the right thing, but I'm still irritated as shit that I have to do it. When I'm like I'll help somebody, but like internally, I'm like, bro, you better, bro, I think you owe me. I'm just keeping score. That's another form of like keeping score. That's a form of like not being unconditionally loving, right? If I'm sitting there and I'm agreeing to help you out, but the whole time I'm sitting there building up a resentment while I'm helping you, like that's a problem. That's a problem, Milan. That's what I look as like resentment disguised as responsibility. Like I'm looking like a responsible friend, but I'm really like pissed off and like building up like a resentment that I'm going to use against you later. Um, I feel like we can get into ourselves into stuff like that a lot, especially early on in recovery. And without somebody pointing that shit out, it's hard to point it out to ourselves because like for me, I don't call myself on my own bullshit. Even today, it's really hard for me to do that. I got to have dudes like you calling me out, right? My guy's calling me at work when he knows I can answer for just a second.
Hey, man, I
Because
love you.
I can't believe you yesterday, bro. Every time, it's like a surgical call. Like it's like hey, time for your like uncomfortable needle of Milan. Like I had to like, but I knew I could answer that split second. It was just really weird. It's really cool. I love you, man. God knows we need to talk.
Yes.
Um, so I don't know. I was getting off on it, but another time, um, when I choose like politeness over honesty, when I choose to be like do the polite thing, but I'm dishonest while doing it, and I'll smile and nod and be like it's all good, but like inside I'm like pissed off at you. You with me? That's one of those like, yeah, bro, we're good, but like, fuck you.
No, 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 it's like this. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, we're good. We're
We're
good,
good.
man. Yeah,
We're
they're
the
like,
Livingstone move. We're
yeah,
good.
You don't even go. You don't want to shake their hand. Don't want to even look at them.
Peace, peace, with no peace sign. Peace. It's
Yeah.
like get away.
Yeah. And still love that person too. I love everybody, bro, because we help each other recover here, man. It's not about anything else but trying to stay clean and love the next human being, man. But that kind of good behavior feels safe, but it's not spiritual for me, Milan. That's where I can. It's like all these good deeds are almost that's when they get forced and they're almost uncomfortable because I'm not coming from a place of spirituality at that point. Another thing that I've been able to realize in this program has taught me when I'm in one of those lanes. So it's really, really cool. I think I'm done. I think that's pretty much it. I got your question.
Amazing. I just had a chocolate.
Yeah. I
Because it's
want one.
Christmas.
I want one.
Oh, and they're Lindor, the red ones.
Oh, they're the Lint truffles. Oh my God, man. I don't
Melt
have
in your
any.
mouth and on your hands.
I'm jealous. I'm
Okay,
jealous.
so we can measure our spiritual temperature by how we react to life when it stops behaving for us. So when things go wrong, do you revert to a well-behaved mask of resentment, or do you surrender your need for control and love completely through the chaos?
Wow. Yes, and yes. I do it all.
He does
There's
it all.
it's a never going work in progress though. I feel like I can I'm better and I'm consistently getting better at those. Um what was the part of the question? Because I know what it was, but I just want to formulate it in my head.
Okay, I got another chocolate.
Sorry, man, my
When
bad.
things go wrong, do you revert to a well-behaved mask of resentment, or do you surrender your need for control and love completely through
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
chaos?
Yeah. So since my surrender game has gotten a lot more, a lot stronger, I really, really have been able to lean more into the surrender part of that. And I do like I'll build resentments and I'll get these bad feelings, but then when I can pray or I can understand like the long term goal here is not what my resentment is towards, right? I got to really understand what the final and the overall goal here is to stay clean, get better, right? Let people be where they're at. Cause, I get to a point where like, I'll almost want to control somebody's recovery for them. Because I just feel like I know better or I've been around longer or I feel like I can see it from an outside perspective, but I have to let people lose their battles, right? I gotta give people their own rock bottom, if you will, right? Like who am I to take you to rob you of your rock bottom and that gift of desperation? So um it's an ever going process. We come in here and we talk about it. I can focus on when I'm doing it in those times, and then I can act accordingly. But I have to understand that step 1, 2, and 3, bro. I can surrender, identify, and turn that shit over. I can do what I can about the situation, Milan, and I can turn the rest over to God. Um, I got to do that every time too, man, because when I try to control the whole thing, bro, like that's when like we get phone calls or we get like we get a text message like, bro, what's wrong with you? So try to stay out of that lane as much as possible. Very general, but that's the answer.
I
This is
love
my
it.
answer.
It wasn't
Yep.
general. It was actually good.
Love you, man.
Um, we can measure our spiritual temperature by how we react to life when it stops behaving for us. Okay, when things go wrong, do I revert to a well-behaved mask of resentment, or do I surrender my need for control and love completely through the chaos? So I've got a little tale, a little tale.
Ooh.
So my daughter was going to Mexico after her surgery. She left on the 24th of November, and it was up in the air as to whether she was coming back. And so 2 weeks ago, she finally books a flight that was to come in Monday night. Well, 11:30, 12 a.m. on Monday, like less than 7 hours before arriving at the airport, she decides to stay with her boyfriend in Mexico.
Oh
Dude,
no.
mama devastated. Papa, acceptance and love. And in fact, I had a conversation with her yesterday morning, and I was even like, I need you to know, I'm like, I forgive you for that change, and that I still feel love for you in my heart. And I rode like this wave of love and acceptance and forgiveness all the way through yesterday. And then it turns out she's actually coming home tonight. Yeah.
What? What is she?
She booked another flight because of how much she saw the family, like how it affected the family, and
Wow.
so massive lesson on, like, if I had gone the road of my wife and was like super upset and crying and not okay and blah blah blah,
She probably
dude,
wouldn't have came.
it all would have been for nothing because she's
Wow.
coming anyway. Like I
Wow.
didn't experience all those hard feelings that my wife did because of this program. Like
Wow.
this was literally an example where it was not a well-behaved mask of resentment. I literally loved completely through it. I literally chose love and forgiveness. I'm like, I have to forgive through this.
Wow.
And but and then here's the kicker of
Wow.
like it was like them forgetting the naan bread in my Indian food last night that set me off. so so what I'm saying though is that I don't wear a well-behaved mask of resentment. I wear a shitty mask of resentment. Like, let's just be honest. I'm not pretending to be okay when I'm not, and I'm not okay when I am acting okay. Like, so it was really cool, just to actually be that positivity, that love, that forgiveness. I honestly feel that I pulled my family back together with this program. And I'm
Dude,
not I'm not bragging about that. What I'm saying is I'm so happy about that.
so dope.
Mm,
That's so cool, man. It's so like beautiful. And that's a great story. Thank you for sharing that with us, man. I'm
yeah,
glad
and
she's doing well.
yeah, I'm glad that we're getting her
And I'm
tonight.
proud
So
of you. That forgiveness, you're getting on some forgiveness, ain't you? You're starting to really
ooh,
forget
forgiveness
some of
is
the
a big
first
thing.
self.
Like, it's like
Ooh.
that Sandy B talk where he's like, okay, let's play a game called Who Can Forgive the Fastest? And I'm like, cut me off. Okay, I can forgive you. You might be a
Because you've
jerk, but
been working on that probably more than anything lately, bro. That's been your thing that you've been working on. And it shows.
Okay,
It shows, man. I'm proud of you, bro. You ready for my question?
I'm ready.
How have this here we're talking about steps now. How have the steps helped you move from behavior to transformation? How have the
Ooh,
steps helped you move from
okay.
behavior to transformation?
Like, number one, first of all, was my first taste of surrender.
Mhm.
And it showed me the power of surrender, truly. You know, number two, number two connected me with an energy that I'd been saving only to save songs' lives, not my own. You know, um, number three has been like surrender in action. So that has transformed my ability to become spiritual instead of just well behaved. Like it once you're actually letting go of something, you're actually not carrying it. Like, it's got nothing to do with behavior. It's like it's the serenity prayer emotion, man. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Well, if I'm just sitting in serenity, I'm like, whatevs, whatever, And
Mm.
so, step 4 and 5 and 6 and 7, they identified what it is that I need to be surrendering or working on myself. But either way, it created the signposts that point me in the direction of the right action. And not letting me hide behind the delusions of not having tools to look at my actions. And 8 and 9, they're clearing out the past so that piece can be here to stay. you know 10
Mhm.
10 is like the rinse and repeat. to maintain that connection and that serenity. You know, 11 is teaching me how to listen to the universe on a daily basis. And that's something that's implemented in my day every day. And then 12 is like the final twist where it's like, man, you want to be spiritual, then you can't have it without service. You can't. You just can't. Like true
Service and love.
true spirituality is seeking service in every moment, man.
That's it, man. That's it.
Yeah,
You just dropped
that's
the
it.
mic on me?
Like it tumbled to the ground. It
Man,
hit me.
come on, man. But I just felt something hit my foot, and I'm like, bro, something just rolled downhill or
No, no,
something. Bro. I don't need
that was my chocolate wrapper.
Okay, just I didn't. We don't need any hard feelings or any
Mm.
resentments. Okay, all right, cool. So I'm gonna answer this question now. I love you, man. How have the steps helped me move from behavior to transformation? Wow. Well, as we all know, the steps, what do the steps stand for? Solutions to every problem solved. And if you're not working the steps, you're nuts. You're not using the steps. NUTS, nuts. You're not using the steps. They also stand for spiritual tools empowering progress. Get on some steps, right? So, what they did is they taught me the difference between looking recovered and being changed. Right, everybody can look recovered, right? We can stop using and come in here and talk a big game, right? But actually actually changing myself, like that's what the steps have done for me. You know, before I worked them, I thought this program was about learning how to act right. Like that's what I thought it was. You know, I thought if I could control my behavior well enough to stay out of trouble and stay clean and stay out of trouble long enough, like I would get my life back, right? Like that's how this whole thing would just happen for me. But the steps show me that staying clean isn't about self-control. It is about surrender. Let's make this very clear right now. It's not about self-control. It is all about surrender. And in the beginning, right, you think about the steps stripped me from my ability to hide. I couldn't hide anymore. You know, right out the gate, step one forced me to admit that I wasn't just powerless over drugs, but I'm powerless over my thinking. I'm powerless over my reactions. I'm powerless over my need to control everything around me. And that single omission alone, Milan, began shifting, me from behavior management to like internal awareness, right? You know, I couldn't behave my way out of addiction, right? I'm not just gonna change my behavior and then I'm not addicted to drugs anymore. I'm not a drug addict anymore, right? I had to face this thing with honesty. I had to be brutally honest. I had to be rigorously honest. You know, we roll into like steps 2 and 3, which move me from my self-reliance into trust, right? And before that, um, even when I was behaving well, I was still running on just show, right? Like it was just a show. I was just running on it. I was just performing, really. That's where we like have all these masks that we wear and all that shit. But I was making decisions based on fear. We've talked a lot about that today, right? That ego and self-will. Um, and then I would ask God to bless them afterwards, right? That was my step process. It was like I'm gonna act like an asshole, then I'm gonna ask God to come in and bless me, right? And bless my actions because he wanted me to act like that. Now I'm asking for his blessing, right? That's for me in my process today, that's not how it works anymore. And that's not how it ever worked. You know, and turning my will and my life over didn't mean that I suddenly behaved better all of a sudden, right? It meant that I had to stop pretending I knew what was best in every situation. Like I always thought I knew best, but I have to come I have to understand I don't. Like I don't know the best in every situation. I've got to allow other people, including God, to help me out because all my best thinking and shit like got me sitting here right now, which I'm grateful for. But like if I'm gonna go back to that, bro, I'm gonna be back on the streets quick, without a doubt. You know, jails, institutions, and death. That's the only things I have for me, right? So when we get into like step 4 is where like the illusion of good behavior just really collapsed for me. Like when I get this shit on paper, I can see that many of my right actions were just driven by that resentment and fear and selfish motives. Um, when I get it on paper and I can look at it, I wasn't just doing the wrong things. I was doing the right things for the wrong reasons, which is a big deal. Like that's a problem. And so step 4 is where I learned who I was again. I literally learned who Andrew was, that honesty that came in there. Um, Step 5 moved that honesty from my head and it just put it out into the light, right? Saying those things out loud broke the power, and that I could micromanage this thing. And that was a huge turning point for me. You talked about step 5 was the first time you cried, and you cried for 2 or 3 days straight. Bro, it's so
Tears
beautiful.
of joy and freedom.
Tears of joy. Yeah, tears of joy and absolute freedom, because that's where that transformation began, right? And I stopped trying to appear spiritually fit, right? And started having to admit who I was. And that's where we really can become a spiritual being at that point. You can't just like talk about it and be about it. You got to really do that. You got to do that work, man. Got to do that work. Roll into like 6 and 7 where I learned patience and humility. I learned that like defects don't leave because I behave better or I'm trying harder. They soften or loosen their grip when I become willing to ask for help. Right? That's the only time they get better, is when I ask for help. Right? Like, I'm not going to think myself out of a process I thought myself into, Scotty. Didn't he say that last time? Did he say something about, like, I'm not going to think myself out of this problem that I thought myself into, right? I got to give it up. So those steps shift my focus from controlling myself to trust in him. That dude, God,
Yeah.
that dude. Step 8 and 9, push my spirituality into action. Making amends, requires more than just being a good person. It requires courage, humility, love, unconditional love, where I can clean up my past without defending myself or demanding demanding that you understand me. It's not about that. Right. I might get some understanding. I might not, but it's about the process, about me being better. It's about me living better today. And I've got to start somewhere fresh, right? I got to get right with my past before I can start living every day as a better human being. And then you come into like steps 10, 11, and 12. That's our maintenance steps. That's my aces in the hole. It's what keeps me alive. It continues that transformation on a daily basis for me. Step 10 keeps me honest in real time, with the dude that I am, not just some reflective image of who I think I am. Step 11, that's where I stay spiritually connected and tapped in, reminding me my behaviors and my relationships, my higher power are very, very important. And then obviously the step 12, bro, service and love. It's not about me. Do all these steps, working all this shit about myself, and it has nothing to fucking do with me at all. It had nothing to do with me, man. And that's where it makes sense. That's where this whole thing in a nutshell goes. Okay, this makes sense for me now. That's where as a result of working the steps, what do we have? A spiritual awakening. So if you don't know what that is, or you want to have something like that in your life, you just want to be able to talk knowingly about it, work the steps. It's guaranteed. It's not just a 50-50 shot, bro. It's guaranteed. If you work these steps, you will have a spiritual awakening and you will get your life back if you choose to do so. I love you, Milan.
I love you, brother. That was a beautiful journey. You ready for another question?
Yes.
Okay, well behaved can often be the ego's most clever disguise, pride in one's own sobriety. Do you feel superior to the person who is struggling, or does your surrender remind you that you are only a daily reprieve away from the same struggle?
Bro, my surrender game really allows me to have empathy for people, man. I really, really, really I need those people that are struggling coming in here, man. When I hear people coming in here struggling, it puts things into perspective for me. It's kind of like the dope I look for in these meetings. Like if recovery is a roadmap, these meetings are my gas stations. It's where I fill up. And I remember early on using that as a point to kind of differentiate my way and be like, this ain't for me. You know, these people don't get me. I use too much. I don't use enough. But the whole surrender part of this thing is really like an underlayment for everything. And being able to surrender to the fact that like that person is struggling, and now what my job is to do is to help that person, right? Like our primary purpose is to carry a message. And what is that message, man? Like any addict can stop using, lose the desire to use, and find a new way to live, bro. And that's what we're doing here is we're trying to show people that they can do that without using, one day at a time. It's so important, and we can't keep on staying clean and giving out all this love and hope if we don't get it right. Like we don't have it to begin with. So that's where I see myself in them. You know, I put myself in their shoes. I try not to just sympathize with them. I empathize with them, and then that really allows me to go above and beyond on trying to help that person, and staying spiritually the whole time, bro. Like that spirituality just brings us all together, and that situation is where my head goes for it. That's my answer. I love you.
I love that. Well behaved can often be the ego's most clever disguise, pride in one's own sobriety. Do I feel superior to the person who is struggling, or does my surrender remind me that I'm only a daily reprieve away from the same struggle? You know, really like when in the NA readings, when it's, the newcomer is the most important person at every meeting. And it truly is, statistically, we have one chance to make them feel welcome. One chance to create an environment they want to come back to with love, compassion, healing, hope, whatever it is that would get them to come back, and it's certainly not going to be ego. It's certainly not going to be ego, like I think for me, part of my job at this point, feels like I'm supposed to be showing people that this program leads to freedom. Yes, this is a daily program, but my hope in what this program can offer has turned to a faith that if I repeat my program with the same veracity and tenacity every single day, I'm going to be straight tomorrow. And I'm not I'm not saying I take it for granted, but I truly believe that this works now. And for me to fake that I think that I'm on this precarious knife edge at every moment, that's just a lie. Like, when they say that we do recover, right? We do recover. It's literally something we read every meeting. And guess what? It's like the feeling that drugs or alcohol are a solution. That feeling's gone for me. Like I do not have that as my list of daily solutions. And why? Because I live a recovery rich life. Like it's not by accident, like I lived a substance rich life before. Like it was absolutely as frequently as I could get away with, which was pretty much all the time at the end.
Yep.
But I get up in the morning, I do my program. If I'm lucky, I get to come on a show with one of my best friends like Andrew and get to share talking recovery. Then I go from this meeting, like right after this podcast, I go pick up a sponsee and we go to do a meeting today.
Awesome.
And like that's probably not the end of it program wise for me in the day or thinking about it. So, I I do believe it is a daily reprieve, but I just don't think that it's as much danger to some as others if you're developing that connection with the universe, that strength. Like it takes me a lot more to feel completely disconnected from the universe, where I would even have, where my precariousness would even start. And it just isn't on my radar that that's something that I would even like derail my entire life for. Like, because I just don't see it as the solution. Because what I've found in this program, I've made my heart feel on fire, in a way that never did. I felt like I was dying. And I really did feel like I was dying at the end. And, jails, institutions, or death, I was definitely on the way to death, man.
Bro, we were dying.
Yeah.
We were dying.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we think about it. I mean, I'm sitting here listening to you, bro. And it's like feelings are taking over my whole body because we used to live all the shit that we're talking about. Like we used to live opposite of all that shit. Like we literally lived for the drugs. Everything we did from one point to the next, eating,
First thought in the
sleeping.
morning. First thought in the morning.
First
Yeah.
thought, and then to eat, to sleep, to drink, to go have a conversation with another person. Everything that I did revolved around substances and transactional relationships. And
Yeah.
the 5 or 6 transactions that I had out there to be able to be able to procure enough to be safe for another week, to not feel like I was going to die. And I would do anything to feel like I'm not going to die. Give me one of those. What that? You know what I mean? Like, and so now we literally have set ourselves up with podcast meetings, things that we don't pay for any of this that we're doing. You know what I mean? We don't pay to be in these meetings. We don't pay to be free. Like we literally have taught ourselves and put enough things in our life to keep us busy to where now like going and using is not in that wheelhouse anymore. It's not in the pie chart. There's no slice for drugs or anything that has to do with it for most of us, right? It's fucking crazy to think about. Like any amount of time where you've gone to not using. That's what they say an addict not using is in an abnormal state, bro. Mm-hmm. Like we use drugs, it's what we do. So this is what we're not doing now. So, whose question is it?
You asked me one.
What spiritual principles help you move beyond surface level recovery today, Milan? What spiritual principles help you move beyond just surface level recovery today?
Surrender.
Love. T-shirt cannon.
Willingness.
And tell us a little bit about those. You got to tell us a little bit.
I thought I was just supposed to say the names and float around like a spiritual.
We were floating.
Okay. So, obviously, like I said at the very beginning, as it relates to surrender, is that I can actually just surrender to this new way of life, surrender to being part of the universe, let go of my expectations, let go of the rope, and that is a very magical thing. In relation to love, I think I mentioned this on the podcast already, but I'm really seeing love very much like serenity these days, where I don't have to like the commodity or transactional version of love would be that I do something loving and Andrew will respond and I will get this back from him. And so what I'm trying to do now is very much like serenity. I'm trying to prepare myself like a vessel that is feeling love inside. And then when I feel this love inside, my actions radiate out loving actions because it's coming truly from how I'm feeling inside. And that is like a metamorphosis in process because I'm just kind of feeling like I'm starting to understand that in a way that I never did. I can almost think that there's no spiritual principle that doesn't involve in what we're talking about today because like honesty, right? Like if I'm just being well behaved, I'm being dishonest. So I'm not actually acting honestly from my heart. So, and like if I'm closed-minded, I'm just being well behaved because I'm not being open-minded to living in a spiritual way. If I don't have willingness to change, I will never move to the spiritual side of it. I will fail. And if I don't have perseverance, then I'm not going to continue to grow along those spiritual lines. Like strength. If I don't have the strength to continue striving, towards that, then I won't have it. And that also involves discipline and commitment, you know. Holy moly, like, faith. If I don't have faith that, like, in my connection with the universe and my universe, then, like, then I'm probably not yet. That's right, faith right
Faith.
there. He's got even nice
Headbands, baby.
font for that. He's got a nice font for that, because it
Mm.
shows that faith ain't just a smooth little thing. Faith has got some rough edges. Faith has got some attitude. Faith can look like fart if he moves it fast enough.
Hold on, let's go with different colors.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Oh, yeah, hot pants pink. I like that. There we go. Is that a sweatband?
It's a sweatband, headband, whatever.
Whoa, nice. I want one of the pink ones.
I could send me one.
Yeah, that's right. Whoa, I like them. I want a pink and a blue one. I use that
guess
when
I'll
I'm
send you
running
one.
up my mountain and when I take my
Bro.
pictures at the top.
You can do it, man. I'll send
Yeah.
you a couple.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think I went through enough there, but, like, I honestly can't even think of one right now that it doesn't involve. Like, when they say that, you have this psychic change, it is literally a complete change in all your thinking. So, like, when it's complete and a shift towards spiritual, what part of the spirit wouldn't it involve?
Yeah, you gotta live it. You gotta
Don't.
live it. Beautiful answer, bro.
I
I
love
love
you.
you so much. I did. Oh, did you just put this in on my foot?
Just like that.
Bro, good thing I got steel-toed boots on.
That's right.
Bro, you are lucky I got some steel-toed boots on, bro. I have a resentment. Quick. Love you, man. You have a great answer. What spiritual principles help me move beyond surface level recovery as you eat chocolate? The ones that, so when I think about this, the undertone is like, it's not just the ones that make me look good, it's the ones that that challenge my comfort. That's where my answer comes in. It's the ones, today I'm learning how to live with integrity, depth, connection, right? Those things that we're looking for. But it's the ones that challenge my comfort, honesty, right? Rigorous honesty. Like, that's the foundation for me. It's not just honest, like, about using, but it's about honesty about, like, my motives going into situations. In my thinking, it's in my thinking. My disease is in my thinking. So surface level recovery allows me to say, like I'm fine when I'm not, right? And I found myself doing that a lot. And spiritual recovery asks me to tell the truth, especially when it's uncomfortable. And when I'm honest with myself and another addict, that obsession loses its power, right? It's what we talk about. Sharing is like the antidote. It's what we need to do here. It's what loosens the power of all that shit. And so when I can share with another addict, or maybe 30, 40 addicts in a group setting, bro, it really, really has a way of relieving the pressure of that situation for me. Humility comes in for me, man. Humility. I got to stay teachable, and there is some uncomfortability with being teachable, right? Because it's like, I don't have it figured out, and there's some level of uncomfortability of that. But then when you layer some surrender in there, bro, like, that becomes very easy, right? When you were like, bro, like, I'm a sponge. I'm here to learn. I don't know everything, but and you might know something I want to know. How did you do this? How did you stay married for this long? How did you, whatever? There, when that surrender comes in, bro, it's a beautiful process. It's not about, bro, you're better than me. I need
so
to learn.
magical.
It's so beautiful. It's like everyone's helping each other be better in life, right? It's not about, what are you trying to take from me, or you're not going to give me the answer. You're not going to give me the secret sauce. That ain't about that shit, man. It has nothing to do with that, bro. You want to learn how to live and like be a better person and be a good person. Like, that's all this shit just is so beautiful, man.
Nothing feels better than having the surrender and the compassion to put your hand out for someone else to grab onto, man.
Man, with nothing else on the back end of that, but just like, please grab onto my hand, right? Like, it's not like grab onto my hand so that because you have a nice cardigan on that I want to try on. Like, it's not about that anymore. It has nothing to do with what your name is, what you look like, what color you are. Bro, it's just about reaching that hand out and who can grab onto that shit, man. Like, who has the willingness to grab onto it? Like, let's go. We need you, right? That's why we're doing this. So kind of got off on it, but willingness, bridge it is like the bridge between knowing and doing for me. I can know a lot of things, but if I'm not willing to do it, right? And like willingness without action is fantasy. We're playing a video game here. If we're just going to sit here and have all these great thoughts about helping people out, but if you never answer the phone when they call you, like, what are we doing? It shows up for me when I got to do the next right thing, even when I don't feel like it, and especially when nobody's looking or when nobody will find out, bro. That's when you're doing the right thing, bro. When nobody's watching, because again. God, always watching me, bro. God was always watching me, and
God, always watching me.
and then I've got to just layer it up with the love because I can't talk. This show should just be called the Love Podcast of Freedom or some shit like that. Just be love, freedom, recovery, because love is the principle that transforms the whole shit. Love transforms the whole shit for me. Transforms everything. Love and recovery is not just a feeling, it's an action. Love is a form of intelligence. It's patience when I want to rush. It's kindness when I want to withdraw. It's compassion when I want to judge you. Love moves me out of my self-centeredness and into usefulness to the world. That's what love does for me, is I become useful to myself and the world when I allow love into my life. And loving and spirituality, I mean, it all like loving spirit, it's all one word. I mean, it's all everything, right? It can engulf everything I'm doing and everything that surrounds me. And when I'm not, no amount of good behavior can replace it too. But a couple other ones: patience, surrender. You've hit on surrender. These principles move beyond my surface level recovery because they allow me to change how I think, right? How I feel, and then ultimately how I respond. Right. And it's not just how I behave, it's how I continue to show up and respond that same way. And they bring depth to my game. Right. They bring an authenticity level to it, and meaning, my recovery game. Without them, I might stay clean, but I'm not going to stay connected. I'm not going to continue to grow and stay free. Love you.
I love you too, brother. Woo! Okay, spirituality is the freedom to act from a place of love without having to check the rule book first. When was the last time you performed an act of love that was completely unscripted and purely from your heart?
Man, bro, I mean, I'm doing that shit all day. Unscripted and from my heart. I'm trying to think of the situation. Oh, okay. So, we have this little bird feeder at the house here, and it's kind of cool. It kind of answers the question, but it doesn't. But it's the first thing that popped into my head. But I used to hate the sounds of birds because it was like early in the morning. I'd hear these birds chirping, and I hadn't slept, or I only got an hour or two of sleep, and I'd be like, "These fucking birds, bro! I hate these birds. I hate these birds." And now, bro, I literally so a couple of people in my life are like into bird watching, and I have since kind of gotten a little bit into it just because, bro, it's like nature. I know there's some people there's one person in my life that birds are almost their higher power, because it's a way that they hear God talking, like just birds, their natural movement and stuff like that, which is kind of cool. But I bought my mom this it's called Nestflix.
Okay.
So you got Netflix, and this thing's called Nestflix. It's a bird feeder that has a recorder. It has a video in it, and it senses when a bird comes in there, and it literally can tell you like what bird it is, and then it records the bird while it's in there, and you hear all the sounds. And so
cool.
I set this thing up over like at my mother's house, and it's kind of crazy because I have these notifications, and I have to deaden the notifications when we do like our podcast and like certain things, because birds will fly in there. We get these notifications, and it's really cool because now I love to listen. Like, I actually know what, like a cardinal, when a cardinal comes in there, it's like bright red cardinal. I know exactly what it sounds like. So
they're beautiful.
I know they're so beautiful. Like, there was a molting one that was just becoming red, and they all live like around my mother's house, and it's cool because I've been listening to these birds. And so now, like when I wake up, I'll like wake up at the house, and then and I know what birds are making what sounds, and I literally wake up with this joy in the morning, knowing that like there's a cardinal like right outside my window, because I know what it sounds like from listening to these Netflix and watching these birds that I actually really enjoy. And I'll be riding around like looking at birds, knowing what kind of birds they are, because I've been tapped into this Netflix thing, and I've just been talking to other people about how birds are important to them and all that other stuff. Can you hear me? You can
I
still
can
hear me,
hear you
right?
perfectly.
I froze up. But that's pretty cool, isn't it? Like I used to despise those birds, and now I literally look forward to the birds chirping in the morning, and I look forward to just all of that, bro. It's like a whole different way of life for me. I don't know. I don't even think it answered the question, but I don't know why it made me think about that.
I think it
That was
did.
cool. That was cool.
Mm.
I forgot about that. I'll send you some of these. I'm gonna send you some clips from
Yeah,
that thing.
yeah.
It's really,
No,
really dope, bro. It's really dope.
no, dude, I think that would be a good gift for me, for my parents.
It's called Nestflix. I'll send you a
Yeah.
picture of it.
Yeah.
It was like, it's really cool, bro. It's really dope. It's got its own little app.
I think it'll be great. There's a Merlin Bird ID free. And so you can hold your phone up, and the microphone on your phone, if you're walking like on a
You
trail,
can hear. Yep.
it picks up the birds and
It
identifies
knows
them
what
all.
birds. Yep.
Yeah, man, that's something that I got into earlier this year. That was actually a really,
So
really amazing thing.
it's attached. So something like that is attached to this app, and then there's another one where it visually senses what bird it is, and it'll tell you like it's like $3.99 a month or something, but it'll tell you like what kind of bird and all that shit, like when it flies into the video. It's really cool, man. It's really cool. I'm gonna send you to you, so you would love it. I love it. It's made me
Yeah.
love birds. It's crazy.
Spirituality is the freedom to act from a place of love without having to check the rule book first. When was the last time I performed an act of love that was completely unscripted and purely from the heart? And I would say that it was when we got the news from my daughter on Monday. I just called my sponsee and said, "Look, man, I'm not coming to the meeting tonight. My service is needed at home. My wife needed my presence, man, and I didn't need to look up principles or do a step 10. It was just like she needed me, and I knew it, and I love her, and I didn't want her to be in so much pain, and I know that I can't change people, places, or things." But it's bullshit to think your presence means nothing to another person. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
really
it, like I might not, like even if I'm just offering companionship and presence with a CE, which by the way, everybody out there for Christmas, give presents with a CE, not a TS. Show up for your
I
people.
love that. I
Yeah,
love that. I love that.
yeah. Show up for
I'm
your
gonna say that
people.
in my meetings in the next couple of days.
Yeah,
Give
that's right.
presents,
But yeah, with a CE, not a TS, man.
not presents. That's beautiful. Your presence is way more than any presents you can give to them. Your
That's right.
presence,
It is. It
ooh,
is the
that's
memories. It's the love.
beautiful.
It's the entire thing, man. And
Love
so
it.
I think that that's it for me on that question. You got another question?
No, because I'm not done writing down presents. Presents.
With a CE, not a TS. As soon as you say
Nah,
that, everybody
present.
knows what
That's
you're
so
talking.
dope. That's so dope. Is it my question to ask you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Your question. Your question.
All right, I got right. Number 5 is I was not prepared. Number 5, how do you know? How do I know when I'm slipping back into performance instead of presence?
Ooh. Well, I would say first of all, uh, right away by the feeling of it. I would say that, I know now. I know now when I'm being honest and honest in my actions versus, like honest with my words, like where my action, where I have integrity with what I'm doing. When the actual intention and the actions have integrity, that shows me that, yeah, my nails look really nice. I'm
They're
like
freaking
Kenny
me out. They're freaking me out every time, and because it's only on one hand, it's not the other one. It's
because I
freaking
play
me out.
guitar. I only get them done on one hand for guitar.
That's cool.
But
That's cool.
yeah, and so I could tell right away just by the motivation of it, and like, am I people pleasing or am I pleasing people? And I think that there's a big
Mm-hmm.
difference for me. And like, I get a weird feeling inside now when I'm being bullshit Muldoon and just not being,
Bullshit, Muldoon.
yeah, when I'm bullshit Muldoon, I can feel it. I can feel it, and I don't even want it, right? You know,
Never heard that
and
before.
it's funny because even like I can I can speak truth, but not being honest. Remember when Casey said that? Mikey K
Mm-hmm.
said that, and it's like I want to live a life of freedom, and that means being rigorously honest in my life, and so like I would say that my life is still in transition of that because one of the things is that without having acted that way very much in my life, I'm still learning how to do it with grace, considering others. Like my freedom should not come at the expense of your emotions.
Bless you.
Ooh.
Bless
and
you.
and so I think the biggest thing for me is like, am I really being of service, or am I serving me? And I think I'll leave the answer there because I was maybe going off a little bit on a tangent.
What does GRACE stand for? Gratitude restores a conscious energy, Milan.
Yes, it does.
You know what it also stands for is gift received and cherished every day. Grace, man. Got to give yourself some
Boom.
grace. Am I answering that question?
Yes.
Do I have to?
You give or
Can we
take.
pass it to Brandy?
Yeah, hey, Brandy, get your ass in
Brandy,
here.
can you? Brandy,
Knock, knock. Imagine she came in an elf's outfit right now. That would
that
be hilarious.
I would lose it. I would. God is great. All
Knock,
right. So
knock.
how do
Who's
I
there?
know? Branda's all Friedel.
Ah, ah.
How do I know? Hey, Friedel, we love you.
Yeah, we do.
Shout out.
Lots.
How do I know when I'm slipping back into performance instead of presence? I wrote that shit down with the give presents, not presents this holiday. I love that, bro. I'm gonna be using that the next couple of days. So, when I think about it, it's when I start to feel tight inside. When it feels tight instead of like that alive feeling that I'm usually feeling, right? On the surface, I may still be doing like all the right things, but like internally, like I might feel like pressured, and there's some kind of pressure there. Um, maybe like where I'm restless, irritable, right? Like one of those kind of things. But presence feels grounded and peaceful, like even when life sucks, right? When it like presence itself, like performance is force. So presence is like a calming thing for me. Performance is something that I gotta ramp up for. It's not natural for me. When I feel like I gotta perform, there's some pressure there. That's pressure for me. And then pressure can get me off sorts a little bit. And that's when if I don't have a program, bro, I can get a little off track. Um, but that's where I get, peaceful, even when it's difficult. But there's a shift there as I think about it. Like, and that shift right there is where my recovery feels. It's where I start to see the warning signs. When I start to feel that shift, that's where my warning signs come in. And I can only see those warning signs as a result of working the steps, doing the program. That you don't just get that by just sitting in the back of the class, going to meetings. I say this a lot. This is the most dangerous spectator sport in the world, Milan. It's hard. Yes, if that's where you're at, just come in here, try and stay clean at first, but like get yourself involved. Make that commitment for yourself to do this thing long term and get your life back. Like do that for yourself. Like you owe it to yourself and everybody around you and all your loved ones to learn who you are as a person and as an individual before you were to make some kind of stupid mistake and go out of here and go out of this world. But at least learn who you are before you go do something like that for yourself. I don't even know why I got off onto that, but one of the clearest indicators in terms of like the question is when like I become overly concerned with how people are perceiving me. Because that can get tricky, man. Because like my disease is in my thinking, and when I start thinking like that, like my actions will start being not where I like of that spiritual nature that I'm looking for, Milan. You know, but that's it's like my focus has to shift to being useful. I'm not here to be impressive. I'm not here to impress anybody. Right? This is what Danny says a lot. I'm here to impress you. I'm not here to impress you, newcomer. That's what he says all the time. And it's brash, right? But it's true. Like I'm not here to impress you. Right. But I'm here to show you how I'm living clean every day, and the attraction rather than promotion. If you feel like you might want to live a little bit and talk like how I talk, and have some hope and love in your life like I do, then maybe like come to the meetings I do and ask me how I'm doing it. I'm here. Like if I'm here in these meetings, I'm here. I'm here to help. I'm here because how I help myself is I help you. Right. If you hear us talk in these meetings, that's how we're going to help ourselves, is by giving it to you. All the shit that we have, we can't keep it without doing that act of giving it to you. That's how this whole thing works. Don't ask questions. Just that's how it works. Right. And so when I stop like listening and start mentally rehearsing the whole shit is when I have a problem, Milan. So I do that a lot when I try to like rehearse from start to finish, and then like I'm trying to control the outcomes in between, bro. And I'll get into one of those spots for a little while, but then somebody kind of racks me out and is like, bro, where have you been? Like, why are you like, why have you not done what you said? Like I can get kind of lost in time on one of those. So that's my answer. I love you.
I love that. I love you.
I love you more.
Ho, ho, ho. The well behaved person tolerates others. The spiritual person loves completely by forgiving them before they even ask. Are you holding a graceful grudge, or have you truly surrendered the right to see yourself as a victim?
You asking me?
Yeah.
I thought you were asking you. I thought it was your question. Ask that whole thing again. I didn't even listen to one thing you
Okay.
said. I'm so sorry.
I can
I'm
see
so
that,
sorry.
Mike. Look.
I'm so sorry.
Okay. The well behaved person tolerates others. The spiritual person loves completely by forgiving them before they even ask. Are you holding a graceful grudge, or have you truly surrendered the right to see yourself as a victim?
You talking about holding a grudge on myself, right? And not other people?
Well, see,
And all of it.
it like you could be basically be playing the victim, right? The graceful grudge, like I haven't gotten grace. Why is the
Okay.
world against me? All that
Yeah.
bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Or have you said, you know what? I'm not allowed to be a victim anymore.
Yeah. So I'm in it. I think that's going to be a never ending transformation. I've referenced this recently on podcast too, when my father had this mentality of like the world was beating him down like his whole life, and then eventually something was going to be given to him in terms of like the world was going to have some grand thing for him. And you can term that whatever you want, but that was just a really kind of sick way of thinking. I remember like I was living with him when we were rolling hard, and we were like running partners, and we were split on the bills on this house that we were living in. And we were actually moving out because we couldn't handle the bills. I forget what the situation was where we had to move, but we had all of our shit on the front porch, and he was on the phone with it was one of the bills we had to pay, and he's on the phone. He's like, I just fucking paid that bill last month. Me and my uncle, right, we're moving out, and we literally looked at each other and went, what did he just say? Did he just paid that bill last month? Like he's pissed that like we pay bills every month, right? Like rent's due every day. Into the recovery part of it is like my shower is only going to keep me clean today, right? Like I got to do my shit for recovery. But it was so funny. I still reference that when I'm talking to people. Like I'll be talking to my uncle. I'm gonna see him at Christmas. We'll say something. Someone will come over and be like, bro, I just paid that bill last month, bro. What is wrong? I just paid that bill last month. What's wrong with you? Why you could ask me for more money this month? I just paid it last month. it's just wild, bro. It's wild how we think. Like we're actually getting kicked out of a house and we're arguing with the bill people because we just paid that bill last month. No wonder we're getting kicked out. Anyways, I just thought it was a funny story. I don't think I've ever said it on this podcast, though. But that was my answer. I'll roll with
I
that.
love that. I love that. Okay, the well behaved person tolerates others. The spiritual person loves completely by forgiving them before they even ask. Am I holding a graceful grudge, or have I truly surrendered the right to see myself as a victim? You know, I really like that you said that that's kind of going to be like one of the lifelong transformations there, because I can have this like profound grace and 20 minutes later be just like, oh, I'm the victim. And it's so funny because, you know, like my spiritual fitness, it really it's like as if I've got a gas tank. And it's just like if I am not filling as fast as it's going out, there gets to a point where I fall back into that victim mentality. And even when it's happening now, though, I can be laughing at myself, like thinking, "What the hell, dude? Like poor you, you know?" And yet, that drama is still rolling over inside my brain. And so, you know, like I would say that 95% of the time now, I am not the victim. You know, and it just
Yeah.
happens. It just happens maybe 5% of the time. And like, you know, like that to me is just an incredible ratio because I used to be the prince of the plethora of pity parties. I
Victor
was
victim.
I was like Victor Victoma. I was like, man, you think you got it bad? Like my pride did reside in all the shit I hide. Like
For I am Victor Victoma.
that's right. You think you've got it rough? You should see me
You've
and
got
my
nothing
mother.
on me. I am
My
Victor.
mother, we were born so poor. No, but you know, so it has been a massive transformation. But I would like to say to anybody out there, you know, like for me, it is absolutely residing inside that hungry, hungry, angry, lonely, and tired.
We're making up words again. We're making up them words again.
Hungry,
Angling.
angry, lonely, and tired. You know, if
Angelino.
I'm hungry, if I'm angry, if I'm lonely, if I'm tired, I become the victim again, man.
Halt.
Halt. You know, like those things are real differences in consciousness for me.
Jerk
You
face
know,
Milan.
that's right. And now I think that that's all I've got for that one because I feel that I accurately touched it in the way that my heart needed to.
Well, I have one more question I gotta know. I gotta
Okay.
know. What
Okay.
does living spiritually look like in your relationships today, Milan?
You know, living spiritually in my relationships today looks like a living amends in the sense of striving to be changing, uh, questioning my actions and motivations about whether I'm being loving, honest, uh, pure, and unselfish. You know, when I started doing that two-way prayer, you know, I looked at that and I was like, pure, pure. I'm like, how does pure fit into that? But the thing about it is that what I'm coming to see is that, you know, like we said earlier, there's no kind of true. My honesty has to be pure. My
Bullshit.
unselfishness has to be not motivated with selfish means.
Or it's
You know,
bullshit.
yeah, or my love. Like my love just has to be emanating out and not looking for like a little thing to grab onto. Come on, Andrew, just love me back. Say that thing that makes me feel good when I say I love you.
Please, please.
And so, you know, living spiritually inside my relationships means that I can actually like seek to make their lives better. I enter those relationships hopefully with compassion, hopefully to heal things instead of push things apart. Um, living spiritually inside my relationships is me actually trying all the time. And I think I'm going to leave that there because for me, that really is the essence of what I'm doing,
That's
is,
dope.
hopefully the people in my relationships feel that I'm trying to approach them with a greater acceptance and tolerance than I ever have. And that I truly do see the error in my ways from when I was being intolerant and unaccepting. Ooh,
I
that
just
looks
want you.
nice.
I just want you to see. I found this. I
Mm,
found it. So I work at a mall.
yeah,
Look at this. How blingy this thing. This
I
thing's
love
so
it. I
freaking.
love it.
It's so blingy.
I love it.
I just
Dude,
wanted to
that's
put it on. So
I
act like
love
I
it. It's
blink.
like El Bling. Is it
It's
real
so
diamonds?
no, dude. It's
Oh,
bro. It's so fake. It's the
okay.
but yeah. It's real. It's one of those really shiny. It's like the ones that like the
Yeah,
rappers wear
yeah,
because when
yeah.
they don't want to pay like a whole lot of money, it's like probably worth $100 or so, but it's not real. But it's
Oh,
really
dude,
nice.
even the fake bling costs a
Yeah,
lot.
this is like really fake bling. It's really
Yeah,
crazy
it
blingy.
looks
So
amazing.
yeah, man. I just figured I'd put that on for a second.
Yeah, you should. It's like Christmas bling, bling,
Let's try
bling, bling,
bling
bling,
bling. All right,
bling,
am
bling,
I
bling.
answering
Oh,
that question?
yeah, you are.
All right. So
Mm.
what does living spiritually look like in my relationships today? Will you tell me, Milan?
Well, what I see with Andrew. No.
Living spiritually in my relationships. He's like, what are you asking me for? It looks a lot different than it did before I got here. We're being silly, guys. Merry Christmas to everybody. But it's so different now because it's less about saying the right things and more about showing up honestly, like as I am, because I know if I show up as who I am, I know I'm gonna help somebody. If I show up the way I think everyone wants me to be, I'm not gonna be able to be anything for anybody. So if I can show up honest, I know there's going to be 3 4 5 people in there that need to hear what I want to hear or need the way I'm approaching something. That's how I'm going to help the fellowship and help somebody today. But there's no agendas here, man. That's what really got me hooked in this program at first. When I saw that H&I coming into that facility I was in, there were no angles, bro. When those guys were coming into our facility on a Friday night, family men, right, talking about golfing on Sundays and their lives, they were not getting paid to come into that facility of 75 inmates, quote unquote, and give that message of hope and love, man. And they did it every Friday. And they were making it seem like that was keeping them alive. And I knew there was something in the sauce, there was something in the water here that if that could work like that for them, that maybe I can try to live. Maybe I can put my stock into this program and maybe get a little better myself. But it was a lot of hope and love, no angles that I felt, listening without an agenda. You know what I mean? Before I would listen to fix, listen to react and respond, bro. Like I listened to take in and understand that I don't know anything here. Right. And I have to adhere to what y'all are doing because it's worked for hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people all over the world, right? Have stayed clean one day at a time and for the rest of their lives because of this program. So I got to put my stock in the program, man, and not too much in the people. I found my tribe, yes, and that's very important too. But I don't need a whole army to stay clean the rest of my life, Milan. It says in my literature that I only need belief in myself, one other person, and a God of my understanding, bro, and I can stay clean the rest of my life if I choose to do so. And that's so important, bro. We don't need a whole art. We don't need 7,000 friends. You just need God, yourself, and one other person, hopefully your sponsor, and you can stay clean the rest of your life. So that's my answer. Love you. You're muted.
I said, woo! That was what I said. I love that. I think we should leave that right there. That was a
Yeah.
perfect ending. But I do want to do one thing. Right now, I would like to say Merry Christmas to Singapore, to
Singapore.
Canada, to
Yes.
the United States,
Yes.
to Colombia, to India, to Denmark, to Spain, and to Israel, and to Uzbekistan. Thank you for tuning in the last month, guys. We really, really have man. This podcast has been a part of my heart And I'm just so grateful for the people, the feedback, the friendships, the growth, the healing, everything involved with it. And we'll almost, if you put your hands behind them there, oh yeah, look at him. We got a reindeer, Andy Reindeer here. That's right. Look at him go. Bum, ding, 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 ding. So tune in next episode for more recovery fun.
Yeah,
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Please help us help others. If you like what you've seen here today, please subscribe and share this podcast and help us get to 100 followers. We're looking for interaction with our audience. So please email recoveryfreedomrising@gmail.com or contact Milan South Okanagan Starcic on Facebook with questions, topic suggestions, or just comments. We'd love to hear from you.